Jack and Emily were hoping for a fresh start in a small New England town. Deep in the woods outside the town, they had bought an old 19th century manor house. The mansion was known to the villagers as the House of Shadows. They didn't know where the name came from, but the size and mystery of the house drew them in. Their first night was quiet and peaceful. However, after a few days, strange things began to happen. Emily said she saw shadows moving through the house at night, and Jack noticed strange rattling noises coming from the basement. At first, they thought it was the expansion of the old house's wood, but things got creepier and creepier. One night, as Jack was fast asleep, Emily was awakened by the sound of screaming coming from the hallway. It was the agonized voice of a small child. Emily jumped out of bed in fright and followed the sound. As she went down the stairs, she saw a figure in the darkness. It was a screaming child, but the child disappeared in a flash. Jack and Emily decided to find out more about the history of the house. In their research at the town library, they learned about the terrible events that had happened in this house many years ago. The mansion was famous for the tragic end of a family living in the late 1800s. The youngest child of the family suddenly disappeared one night and was never found. The mother and father went insane shortly afterward and committed suicide by hanging themselves in the basement. This information horrified Emily and Jack. However, they did not think of moving out of the house. One night, Emily dreamed that the little boy was whispering to her. "Find me," the boy was saying. As soon as Emily woke up, she woke Jack, and they decided to go down to the basement. The basement was dark and damp. The stone walls gave off a cold and eerie air. As they examined the walls with flashlights, they found a trapdoor hidden in a corner. When they opened it, a deep well was revealed. As they looked into the well, they felt a cold breath and saw the face of the boy lost in the shadows. Gathering his courage, Jack decided to go down into the well. Emily's heart was pounding as she waited for him above. When Jack reached the bottom of the well, he found a small skeleton the size of a child on the ground. Next to the skeleton was an old teddy bear. As Jack picked up the teddy bear, a scream echoed through the basement. The scream became more and more painful, and then abruptly stopped. Jack and Emily wanted to give the child's skeleton a proper burial and put his soul to rest. With the help of the local priest, they buried the little boy in the town cemetery. However, when they returned home that night, they felt something had changed. Emily was trying to sleep in bed when suddenly she felt a cold hand on her throat. When she opened her eyes, she saw a figure looming in the shadows. It was the ghost of the parents who had committed suicide. "We have avenged our son," they whispered. Emily gasped for breath, and Jack tried to wake her, but it was too late. Emily was found dead in her bed, her eyes open in horror. Jack left the house after the horrific events. The House of Shadows was once again abandoned with its haunted past. Jack carried the scars of that terrible night for the rest of his life and never returned to the house. The mansion remained a shadowy secret in a dark corner of the town.